Hello friends, I'm on my floor today. Different scenery, cool, cute, awesome, amazing. And hello, beautiful people of the universe. That's how I usually do my intro. What the hell is up? So today we're talking about the power of your mind and your mindset in terms of manifesting your desires and how powerful the frequencies that are emitted from your brain are. Just basically how powerful thoughts are. Thoughts create reality, plain and simple. When you think you're gonna have a shitty day and you're programming yourself in the morning right when you wake up, I feel like crap. What does the rest of your day look like? Crap. Because you keep programming that you're gonna have a crappy day. And when you keep thinking about that, the universe becomes a mirror of your thoughts. And so when you have constantly negative thoughts, the universe is going to mirror you negative scenarios that match the thoughts that you are then putting out to the universe. The law of attraction. Whatever you put out is brought back to you. So if you're constantly emitting negative frequencies, negative energies are going to be attracted to you. You become a magnet for the vibration that you emit. And that is the law of attraction. Also, just how powerful the brain is. My teacher told me about this study done in the 70s about how powerful our brains are in terms of creating our reality, and the thoughts then turn into a physical manifestation of our surroundings. So don't quote me about this story because I'm not really sure where she fact checked it, but it's a cool story regardless. So there was a study done to prison mates, cellmates. Oh my God. People who are in prison. I can't think of the word. Anyway, but so in this study, they had 4 inmates sit in these chairs, and they blindfolded them. And they basically told them that it was a life sentence, basically, that they were going to slit their wrist and let them bleed out. But what they didn't do was they didn't actually slit the wrists of the prison mates. Why can I not come up with the word right now? Whatever. And so they had these 4 people sitting there. They pretended to slice the wrists. And you know what happened? Each one of the prison mates, we're just going to call them prison mates, died. Because their brains convinced them, they went into like having a heart attack because because they were told this information, they convinced themselves that they were slowly bleeding out. And so their heart rate dropped really low. Like, I don't know if it was a heart attack or just dropped to a really dangerously low level, and all of the cellmates died. All the prisoners. Prison mates? What the fuck? Oh my God. Anyway. I don't even know. That was funny. But basically, extreme sense of how our thoughts create our reality. All these prisoners convinced themselves that they were dying, and they died, even though they hadn't even slit their wrists. They were completely subject to their own minds, and that created the reality of them dying. Now, you can look up that study because I actually never looked it up. She just told me about it. It could have been a false study, but did it work in terms of setting the tone of, wow, our thoughts really manifest into our reality? So say you're applying to a school, or you're trying to get a job, or you're trying to start a business, or you're trying to manifest a relationship, and you're constantly doubting yourself. And you keep doubting yourself, and you're like, I don't know if I have it, what it takes. I don't think I'm going to do it. I'm not going to make it into this school. I'm not smart enough. I'm not. Well then, honey, the universe is going to see you doubting yourself, and it's going to be like, okay, well, we're not going to bring that to you just yet, and we are going to allow you to fail until you start believing in your ability. Because the universe isn't going to bring you what you truly desire until you believe that you have the ability to attain those goals. And once you start believing in yourselves and those capabilities that you have within you, the person that you desire to be is already within you. You just have to remind yourself that. And so when you continue to doubt yourself, it's going to program you into this lower vibration that's not going to allow you to align to the person that has completed those goals, who does have the ability to do so, because you are keeping yourself locked in this lower frequency of self-doubt. If we look at one of my teachers in my holistic health school showed us a chart with emotions and the frequencies that these emotions lie on. And if we look at emotions and energies as if we're on an elevator, which I actually had this thought one time when I was super high in bed, where I was like, when you take drugs like psychedelics or, smoke weed, it's like you go up a floor on an elevator. And we're usually at base level, which is like sobriety mind, where we see the world from. But then say we microdose on a little bit of shrooms. Maybe we go up to the 3rd floor. Say we blast off on some DMT and we get shot up out of the skyscraper and enter into the ethereal realm. It's like, it's the same way with thoughts. And it's the same way with energies that we carry within our vessel are going to keep us stuck on different levels of this elevator. And so if we're constantly keeping ourselves at base level, or say basement level, where we're doubting ourselves, we feel guilty about things. Guilty is actually one of the most negative emotions that you can have as a human being, which I thought that was really interesting. That's the lowest vibrational energy, is feeling a sense of guilt. And I thought about that for a while, because there's been many times in life where I've felt very guilty. And unless I transmute that energy into making change for myself and I stay in this perpetual state of guilt, it's not getting me anywhere. You have to use those negative sorts of energies like guilt or anger as more momentum emotions, where they push you into different directions of being, rather than getting stuck in them. If you get stuck in feelings of guilt or feelings of anger, then you're gonna just be within this state of perpetual destruction. Anger and guilt, when they're stuck inside of the body, lead to so many different health issues. And that's actually proven, is that different organs, muscles, tissues, the body has a cellular memory of emotions, and emotions can get stuck in the physical body, which then can lead to health issues in the future. Why do so many people suffer with cancer in the future, or Alzheimer's? Not Alzheimer's. What's the one? Arthritis. That's the one. Arthritis is a lot of times a manifestation of too much anger that's held in the body, because it stiffens us. When we get angry, we get stiff. We hold on to things and we clench. It's like when you're angry, you clench your jaw, you clench your body, you stiffen up like a board, which arthritis is actually a disease that is caused from a prolonged state of anger that's stuck in the body. Granted, it can also be hereditary, it's built in our DNA, but there are emotions that then can perpetuate these diseases to take place in the body. So this video is kind of taking a 180, and we've gone in a lot of different directions, but just like, it's kind of about just how emotions are connected to our reality and our physical well-being and our physical health. So, how do you start changing your mind to start believing in the things that you desire rather than keeping yourself locked in this lack mentality? First of all, you have to start changing the way that you speak. Say that you're in a financially difficult situation, which in this day and age, a lot of us are because inflation is rising and minimum wage is not going along with it. And so we're not getting paid enough to be able to sustain ourselves in this environment. But there are plenty of ways that we can change our financial situation to be able to live the lives that we desire. And one of those is basically by switching your mentality of your lack mindset. My friend actually came up to me and she asked me, she's like, what are some ways or some mantras that I can say to myself to shift my reality into an abundant state of financial gain? And I was thinking, and some ways of connecting it to Mother Earth, because if you speak through Mother Earth in her language, it helps you manifest even faster. So one of them I always said was, currency flows to me like in a river of abundance. And then money is attracted to me like the gravity on Earth's field, or something like that. And so it's like repeating those mantras every morning. And the more that we repeat things in our brain, the more that those pathways begin to stick and be rooted into our subconscious. Because the more that we speak negatively, those patterns are going to start to imprint, and we're just going to continue to believe and use those old ways of thinking. If we look at the brain like a road, and this road, if you guys are familiar to mud season, if you have that in your climate or your area where you live in, and you have dirt roads, you got the dirt roads, okay? And in the summer, not in the summertime, in the springtime when everything's melting, those dirt roads get super muddy. And when you drive your car on them, a lot of times your car is gonna fall into those ruts that are made from other cars. And it's super easy just to fall into those ruts. Just like how it's super easy to fall into old ways of thinking in our mind because we're used to those. But it's harder to take that car out of the ruts and create new ways of thinking, new pathways. But that's ultimately what you have to do. You have to retrain your brain to think in a form of abundance rather than a form of lack. And so that starts with how you speak to yourself, how you speak to others. If you're constantly, talking to other people who say that they're like, oh, I had a really financially hard week, blah, blah, blah. And you're like, oh, same, like, I don't know, I'm never going to be able to make enough to be able to sustain myself. I'm really struggling financially. You're programming yourself to then stay where you are. You're not giving yourself the freedom to be like, well, I have the ability to change and manifest. And so some ways that you can then shift that thinking is just being like, temporarily, I am in this state, or maybe not even temporarily. Just say I am on the path to creating a more financially rich life for myself. I am in the process of doing so, rather than holding yourself down into this state of, I am here and I will never be over there. So speak of it as like it's a journey, and that you're working towards something, and that you're going to achieve those goals, rather than keeping yourself locked into this box of lack. So that was one way how I started my art business, was that I just full-heartedly believed myself that I was going to make a living off of my art. And no matter how many people had doubt within me and was like, well, how is that? The amount of times that my parents said when I started my art business and I was selling on the side of the road, And they're like, you need to get a part-time job. How are you going to be able to sustain yourself just off your art? Which, granted, I do massage on the side, so I have both, but I love doing massage, so it doesn't even feel like a part-time job. But I started going down into Waikiki every day at like 10 o'clock, and I would sell my art all day until sunset. And I'd leave with like 300 to 400 bucks a day. And that was usually on average. And I was sustaining, and I was doing it because I believed that I could do it. And I walked down there and I was like, I'm gonna have a financially abundant day. What happened? I had a financially abundant day. On the days if I was in a negative mindset where I was like, ugh, I am struggling and I don't know, then that's when the days that I did badly. You have to believe, program, tell the universe what you want and what you know you deserve, and it's going to bring that back to you full-heartedly because you trust. If you don't trust in what you're doing, the universe is going to see that and they're like, oh, they don't trust what they're doing, so we're not going to bring them what they are able to do because they're not trusting yet. They're not trusting in their abilities. Also, another thing that I believe is when opportunity comes knocking at your door, believe in yourself. A lot of people have opportunities that come to them, but they don't think that they're ready yet for what's being offered to them. And so they decline. Bitch, do not decline. If the universe brings you something, an opportunity, and you don't think that you have the skill set to do that, honey, the universe wouldn't be bringing it to you if it knew that you weren't ready. So that's what I believed also is like, I was offered a while ago to start teaching classes at Kailua Crystals for tarot and holding Reiki space, which I no longer really do because of a dissonance within moral values. But for a while, I was doing that, and it was a great path, and I loved it. And I was teaching something that I really enjoyed and holding space for something that I always wanted to do, but I didn't know if I was ready to do it until they just came up to me and they're like, we want you to do this. We think that you are able to do this. And my answer was like, okay, you're right. I don't think the universe would be speaking through you to me if it knew that I wasn't ready to hold this kind of space. And so I went along with it. I was super nervous going to my first class to go hold space, but it ended up being incredible and amazing. And I'm all sniffly right now. And then I started to get more comfortable in this space because I started to align myself to the human being that had the capability to do that subconsciously just by trusting that I already was that human being. Another one that I used my power of believing in myself to get a job was when I applied to the Halekulani, which is a super bougie, high-end hotel in Waikiki, to start doing massage therapy. Granted, I had just gotten out of massage school like that year, or like a year before. Like I was a year out of massage school. Those type of establishments, they even told me, they're like, we don't really ever hire people right outside of school. Like we want people with at least 5 years of experience, at least. Bitch, I walked up to that place like I had one other massage job before I fucking applied to that spot. But I like knew in my heart, I'm like, I'm supposed to be here. I had this weird feeling like, no, this is what is supposed to happen. And I walked up there with as much confidence as I could fucking muster in my body. And I went into the interview. And basically later they told me, they were like, it was something within your heart. We like just trusted that it didn't matter that you didn't have the experience that we were necessarily looking for. There was something in your heart that felt like you were supposed to be here. And so we went along with it. And I know and I believe it was because I believe so full heart, the hearts within my heart space, that I was supposed to be there. I was supposed to have that job. And I think that they felt that within the interview was like, because I knew that that was for me, and I was aligning to that frequency of that human being who was already working at the establishment, and they tapped into that on a subconscious energetic level. And so that's how I got the job. I full-heartedly believe that's how I got the job. If I went in there without that type of energy or confidence, with 1 year of experience under my belt of massage, I don't think I would have gotten that position. And I'm still working there. And it's great. And it's been an incredible opportunity and an immense place of growth and learning to connect with people of different backgrounds, especially ones of more higher status. Higher status is in like they got money type of shit. You know what I mean? Like that, like you stay there and it's like $800 a night or something for a massage room. And I'm walking up there. I mean, I'm just like a semi-broke 23-year-old at the time. Now I'm 24, but like, you know what I mean? I had to take out all my piercings and stuff. But granted, I was able to manifest the position because of my heart space, because of my confidence, because of the love that I carry as a human being. So, and I was also talking to my friend recently who was starting a hiking guided tour business out here, and he was like worried about when he was gonna get his first bookings and stuff, and I was just like, you need to trust it's gonna happen. I'm like, I feel it for you. You are putting your heart into this. You want this so badly. The universe is going to see how badly you want this and how much your heart and how much you've invested into it. You have to invest emotionally, physically, mentally. You have to put in the physical effort for sure. That is a component, but you have to have all the components to truly manifest. So I think a lot of people, there's many ways of manifesting. Some people write it down. Some people, some people speak it into existence, but the part that I feel like a lot of people are lacking is they write it down, they speak it, but they're not believing it. You have to embody what you are trying to bring into this earth. You have to feel it on a cellular level. Emotions are what drive the human existence. They are what make us inherently human, is the emotional centers. And I feel like so many people are disconnected from our emotional centers that it makes it harder for us to cultivate lives that are soul enriching, because we're doing it not from a place of desire, but from a place of, what do you call it? I can't think of the word. Just from a place of going along with what society is programming us to believe that we're supposed to be doing. And so we're creating lives for us that aren't inherently emotionally enriching, but it's like we want that experience, but we aren't connected to our emotional centers enough to know even what our hearts are desiring for us. And so a huge part of manifestation is connecting to our emotions, because that's going to allow us to really connect into our soul and understand what it wants to birth into this existence. I believe that each human being is brought here with some kind of blueprint that is manipulative, that you can like tweak around, but a blueprint of existence of why we were called to this earth for a reason. I don't believe in there's no meaning to this existence and everything happens willy-nilly and it's all just cause and effect and reaction. It's like there's purpose to it. There's purpose to why you incarnated on earth and why you're living out your life. And there's a desire that your soul had to want to incarnate into a physical being, because it desired this yearning of growth, to experience emotions, to flourish in a way that it wouldn't be able to do in other planes of existence. So it shows its physical manifestation. So tap into what your soul was called here to do. And when you start to actually tap into your emotional connection to your higher self, that's when manifestation is going to come more easily to you. Because when you align to that, it aligns to your truth. which when you align to your truth, that is when manifestation can then be poured through you as a clear, coherent vessel, and you can birth your story into existence. Because if we're trying to manifest things from places of obligation or what we think we should be doing here, the universe might make it harder, because it's like, wait, hold on. Another form, we're connecting it back to the video, rejection is redirection. If we try to manifest from a place of obligation, the universe may reject us because it wasn't meant to happen. And it's like, okay, I'm going to reject you because there's something better for you that you need to learn and discover and tap into yourself of what you're really meant to be doing here. And so I'm going to redirect you, and you're going to find that, and you're going to tap into your emotional center. And when manifestation starts to become easy, it's when you can now know that you're like, okay, I'm on the correct path because things are happening fluidly, easily for me. How I came out to Hawaii was crazy. I was in college. I was not in high school. I was in college, and I was vending my art at a music festival that my friend had hosted. And I was talking to some girls there because they were a bit older than me. And I was like, I'm in college. I'm studying art. I don't know if I love being in college. I really want to practice holistic health, maybe massage, Reiki, energy healing. I had taken some classes in college for it. And I'm like, it's something that really fascinates me and something that I want to do. And they were like, girl, I just was visiting this school out in Hawaii, and I think you would love it. And you should check it out. And she gave me the information, and I looked it up. And in my head, I was like, how am I going to get out there? I don't know how this is going to happen. But there was something in my heart that was like, you're supposed to go, and it's going to work out. And so I was like, okay. A lot of things that I believe in as a human being, and something that's worked for me, is I don't like to force things. When I start to try to force things, it doesn't work. And that's another thing with manifestation, is like, you can't push too hard, because if you push too hard, then the universe is going to push you back. And it's like, no, stop it. Let me guide you. You put in a little bit of work. I'll meet you where you're putting in, and we'll build this together. You're not alone. You have guides. You have beings that are here to help you move along your path. So trust in that. Trust. That is the hugest component of manifestation, is trust. Just trust. Not a fake kind of trust, like a feeling of trust. And so when I saw the school, there was something inside of me that was like, I'm going there. And I feel that. And I trust that. I don't know how the fuck I'm going to do it, but I trust it. And so later on that year, my aunt's ex-girlfriend, who is like, she's like my auntie. I didn't see her in like 10 years. I met her when I was little. She's from Hawaii. And she grew up here. I hadn't seen her in ages. Calls me. I'm in Burlington. Can I take you out to dinner? Yeah, Wendy, I would love. Like, what? So weird. Like, a few months after all this shit with that, learning about that school happened. And so yeah, she took me out to dinner, and she was like, how's college? Like, how's everything going? Are you liking school? And I'm like, yeah, it's good, but honestly, I've actually been looking into this holistic health school in Hawaii, and I'm thinking about not finishing college and actually transferring and studying massage and holistic therapy. And she was like, that sounds awesome. She's like, if you actually end up going, she's like, you know, I live there. It was on Oahu, same island that she lives on. And she's like, you can just live with me. She's like, I have an extra room in my apartment. Just let me know. Ding, 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 ding. The universe was like, here, this is your opportunity. If you don't take it, what are you doing? And so you bet your ass I jumped on it. I called my parents later. I have it figured out. I have a place that I can live. I think I'm going to move to Hawaii, and I need to get in contact with the woman who's doing the school because I need to get my last spot. because she had been running out of slots for the school, and I was like in distant communication with her, but not super like constant. And so I called this woman Lucky, and I was like, hey, I have housing figured out. She's the woman who runs the school. I was like, if you still